Namaste viewers, I am Anjali Ankad and welcome to NewsBharati channel. Today marks a momentous occasion as the foundation stone of three groundbreaking semiconductor projects worth 1.25 lakh crore was laid by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. To shed light upon the significance of the semiconductor industry and this milestone that has been unfolded today, we are privileged to have distinguished expert Mr. Atul Nagras, the director of the Advanced Process Technology.
Hello, hi Anjali, how are you?
Welcome, sir. I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir?
I'm okay, busy.
Yes, sir. Yes. So, can you explain the viewers about how much the semiconductor industry is important and how much of an impact it will create in India?
The semiconductors, which is basically an IC chip on a silicon wafer or any other semiconducting device wafer, is the how would I put it? The cornerstone or the foundation for the entire modern industry now. So you have IC chips not necessarily only in laptops, but they are in mobiles, your automobiles, your aircrafts. Your TVs, your smartphones. You take every little thing now. Everything works on those smartphone on those microchips. Even your modern devices, your microwave ovens, your refrigerators, your washing machines, all the basic ingredient is a microchip or a micro device, which is the basic of which is the semiconductor industry, the semiconductor device. And I, while this is true for most of the consumer items, but it is also very important where your strategic industry is concerned, where your defense industry. So all the missiles, all your guns, ships, and your radars, everything, your power electronics, which is are needed there. So everything is running on those chips, and so in a way, I think this is the most important step, which should have been done 50 years ago, 40 years ago, but for various reasons, it has been delayed. And so I think this is a great beginning, start of a new era, I would say.
So, sir, how will these three semiconductor projects are going to contribute in India's growth?
Semiconductor industry, when you talk of that, it's I think what they are establishing is a semiconductor fabrication facility. So so the common parlance used, people call it a semiconductor fab, where you actually manufacture a semiconductor device out of it. Uh, so most of these fabs or foundries, as people call it. So the first step in any device manufacturing is the design of it. India has enough manpower, and we have been contributing in designing on computer graphics. So there are softwares available worldwide, and a lot of global semiconductor industry or people who design various application chips are available. The design houses, they have captive houses in India. So, for example, um, a lot of the Pentium chip design was done here. A lot of semiconductor design, which is done on the layouts, and then the simulations are all done here in India. So that was the software part of the designing part of it. So that capability is already there. That kind of manpower, skilled manpower, though is there. But the next stage of actually fabricating it is a very elaborate technology, where multitude of technologies goes into the making of that of a particular semiconductor chip. And with these two huge plants, I think in the next 10 years, and if they are successful, which I am sure they will be, they will create an ecosystem where many more such semiconductor fab for specific applications can be created. So, it will definitely boost in the longer run other fabrication facilities or for the industry. So in the next 10 years, 15 years, you will create an ecosystem uh, where not only so the tools of manufacturing will be in our hand. So I think that's the most important part of it. It will be a major impetus to the semiconductor fab industry, which will eventually lead to our own how would I put it, our capability or ability to design chips, to manufacture those chips for a specific application. So I think that's how it will be contributing in a big way.
So, is it a dream come true for you? Uh,
Uh, well, my background is in material sciences, and then I went to the US, and then I worked in a semiconductor fab for 7 years. And so when I came back 22 years ago, there was only one government semiconductor fab in Chandigarh, but there wasn't no private ecosystem where a semiconductor industry could flourish. So I think personally, I would say it's the beginning of the dream or realization of the beginning of that dream. But I'm close to retirement now, so but probably not for me per se, but for the future generations, I think that would lay the foundations of because if you have to become a $5 trillion economy or even a 10, $15 trillion economy by 2047, be in the developed nations level, and also have the strategic autonomy where I mean we are not an assembler but also designing of new chips and everything in defense to automobiles to mobiles. We will then have the capability in the next 10 years. I mean, not immediately tomorrow, because these two private fabs would be for a specific purpose that they are planning for, but it would definitely lay the foundations for something like this in the future. Yes.
but was it delayed, as you mentioned?
Uh, well, it's been delayed by 40, 50 years. So, but we had our own problems. I mean, the the liberalization came late because uh, a semiconductor industry needs it's a global setup. I mean, the ecosystem is global. It's, I mean, you need input from wafers to chemicals to all sorts of rare exotic materials. You need equipment to manufacture those, and those equipment are needs to be imported. And so we did not have a liberalized trade regime where all of this could be managed. But I think in the last 10 years and that kind of ecosystem has been created where we can freely import equipment for establishing a semiconductor fab. Though, mind you, we would still be, how would I put it, dependent on the equipment to make that. But at least we have the first step is we should be able to manufacture our own chip in the next 10 years. I mean, as I say, it needs a lot of gestation period. It needs a lot of time to absorb technology. It needs a lot of time to train, create a skilled manpower in the fab itself. But yeah, it's been delayed for various odd reasons, and I think this is it's in a way a big revolution. This is an industrial revolution which we missed 30, 40 years ago. Um, we are playing catch up, but there I durust hai.
Yes, sir. True. Moving on to the next topic, is this relevant to the so much hyped Swadeshi concept of Prime Minister Narendra Modi?
Well, Swadeshi is not hype. I mean, for a continental country of our size with 1.4 billion people, I mean, we are still dependent on some high tech equipment uh, uh, on some foreign countries, and I think it's a one big major giant step forward leading towards Swadeshi, where you are not dependent on somebody to deny you technology, deny you equipment, uh, and so I think it's a big important step forward, which will the whole Atmanirbharta concept. For a small country, it's okay, but for a continental-sized country like ours, we can't forever depend on outside forces who can cut off the supplies anytime if we so I think it's a big step, but it's not a hype. I mean, it's this semiconductor industry. I think it's uh, uh, just like pharma industry, the semiconductor industry, the automobile industry, all those. This is a one big major chunk. I think if they do it right in the next 10 years, I think it will bring a lot of jobs. It will bring a lot of technology in many aspects. A very important day for everybody, for India at least.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable insights. So, thank you, viewers, for watching this interview. And yes, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.